Hello, my name is Antonio Papano. I'm a patron of the Keyboard Charitable Trust. I was born in Britain. I've lived and studied in America, and now divide my time mostly as music director of the Royal Opera House Covent Garden here in London and the Santa Cecilia Orchestra and Chorus in Rome. Music has no borders, and the Keyboard Trust neither. Over its long history, it has presented young concert pianists of 34 different nationalities, offering them performing opportunities internationally and now globally by means of these internet broadcasts. All are ready to grace the great concert halls. I now invite you to hear them in conversation and in concert. Please remember their names, then ask the Keyboard Trust to send them to perform where you are. Then you too will have helped to accomplish our true mission. Thank you very much.
Ilya Kondratiev, who's just about to go on our American tour, starting on Wednesday in New York and taking in Philadelphia, and the home, beautiful home, the theatre of Laurent Mazel on his estate in Castleton. You were obviously a child prodigy. Your mother's a pianist, so you heard a lot of music perhaps in your home. But when did you realise that, did you have any particular musical gifts? I mean, could you play melodies after sheets, or could you repeat them on the piano? Do you have that sort of perfect pitch, that sort of gift? How was it noticed, and what age was it noticed?
Well, it started everything at around when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and obviously I watched and listened to my mum playing at home.
Was she your first teacher?
No,
did you have
no, never.
Why did she refuse to teach you?
I think mostly me, who refused kind of to have any lessons with her, which was quite funny actually.
So you had lessons from in your hometown, which is home city.
Samara,
yeah.
Yes. So it started like, yes, I tried to play something, to repeat something, and yeah, I liked it, and somehow I remember, I don't remember how, but well, most likely with her help, I learned all the notes, how they should be written, and I remember I took some of her books, and obviously it didn't sound like it should be because I couldn't sight read, but I tried just to, you know, to see something, to play some notes, and I was quite motivated to do so. And then when I was almost 8 years old, my mom decided, okay, let's bring me to the music school.
Which is quite late to start.
Quite late.
The Russian schools start from the age of 3 or 4 with this
training.
training.
I think I went to the music school when I was almost 8 years old, and
is that a state-run music school?
Yes,
it is.
Yes.
And is it free? Do you have to pay for it, or is it part of your education? If you're talented enough, if they accept you.
Well, it was, let's say, it wasn't like an ordinary or obligatory school education. It was sort of a co-curriculum, like a separate music school. Well, it was a long time ago. I can't say. So
you had
if
all
it was
your education
free or
in this
not.
music school? Or
No. I went to like normal school to learn all the subjects, and then in the evening or in the morning, depending when I went to the normal school, I did my music tuition at the school. Not every day, but a few days a week.
Yeah, and you had someone who supervised your practicing from the word go? I mean, was it?
You mean like my teacher at school, or
like your piano teacher? You would have a piano lesson, and then you would go home and practice, or
yes,
and would there be someone that would supervise your practice?
No,
which is
not really.
So
well, in the very beginning, of course, my mom helped with that. But I remember at some point, probably when I was like year 3 or 2-3 in the music school already, so I mean I understood already some things. I could do some stuff by myself. Maybe a bit later I kind of refused any comments from her, and my mom, I sort of separated her from my practicing, because it was like, me, my practicing, and my teacher, and that's it. I didn't want to hear like any comments from anyone else.
And your teacher, she gave you a technical preparation, and what the Hanon studies or whatever. I mean, how do you start how did you start?
Well, I don't remember honestly playing any Hanon studies, but I did quite a lot. You know, those Czerny little etudes. Well, of course, it was obligatory. And what I find good in well, it's a Soviet model of music education, but which continued in Russia, that twice a year we had obligatory exams for which we had to prepare some set of pieces, and I find that it was it covered different areas, not only like technical development, but also like musical everything, so it was well balanced in a way.
Is that a standard preparation? Every conservative would do it in the same way, or is it particular to the teacher that you had?
Well, in a way, there is something sort of like state regulated, so like there is like one general program which more or less every music school follows.
Because the exam is the standard exam.
It's not like a BRSM exam, for example, but let's say there are certain requirements for any group age, like for every year, what kids should prepare, what they should play. And as I said, what's great, I find great, that you had to do it like twice a year, and you had to prepare for that. It's not that like you are not ready now, you can do it next term or something like that. So it forces you to be a little bit more organized.
Yeah. And then from there you moved to Moscow.
Well, after my music school, I started at the music college in Samara.
Yeah.
Well, college in Russia is slightly different from college in the UK and like rest of the world. So it's not the high education level. So it's not like university. It's before the conservatoire, before the
like we have the Purcell School or the Menuhin School here. And they're all musicians. They're all.
That's already specific music.
So you've made a decision already that this is what you want to do, or it's made for you, this decision?
No, I did. Nobody forced me ever to play music.
But your schoolwork as well carried on at your school as well, or
yes, I did it in parallel. So for 2 years, I finished my normal school, and at the same time for 2 years I did that music college. And after that, when I was 15 years old, I moved to Moscow to continue at the college of the conservatoire.
Which school? The conservatoire?
Yeah, the college. No, first the college of the conservatoire.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, I started the conservatoire, Tchaikovsky conservatoire.
So who was your main teacher at that point, which was the
in Moscow?
In
Moscow, Zinaida Ignatieva, and so I stayed with her for all my years in Moscow.
And then you came to England. Why did you come to England? What made you come? Was it because you went in for competitions and you met people that suggested you might want to go and study in London, or at least to live in London?
Well, yes, I met Vanessa Latarche about a year or two before I moved to London.
In Moscow?
Yes, in Moscow, because she goes there every year for the auditions. And so I played it, and I was offered to come to London, and I decided, it might be a good step.
And the main teacher in Moscow, was it a technical training, or was it artistic, or was it combined? Because you move very naturally at the piano, it makes me feel other people are rather rigid, and the Russian school, let's say, in inverted commas, is the school where every key goes pushed down, right down to the bottom. But you don't have that. You have strong fingers, which give you much more subtlety. You don't push them every time down to the bottom of the keys, which a lot of people do in certain schools of Russian piano playing. But you listen very carefully, as though you've had some sort of training from a teacher who has made you aware more of the music than the actual technical thing.
I have to admit that, mainly, yes, it was about the sound. I would say it was about the sound, and I'm very grateful because my professor in Moscow, not only to me, to everyone, she showed a lot how it should be, because she's a wonderful pianist. And
is she still playing? Is she still teaching?
Yes, she does. And I think that influenced a lot, because when you hear how it should be, and then obviously you're not a monkey, you're not just copying it and producing the same. You put it through yourself, but still, I mean, constantly hearing the sound quality is very important. Therefore, I find that teachers should show a lot to their students rather than just talking. You need to play. You need to show how to achieve this or that sound, and how.
And we have the idea that the Russian schools uses very much the quality between pianissimo and mezzo forte, the graduations of sound. In fact, when Richter first came to London, the most startling thing about Richter, you never heard anyone play the piano so quietly. People think of the great sound, but it wasn't. That came later with Gilels, who had the great European sound, the more what they used to say, the sound that Rubinstein had, which had more sense of a line. Sometimes in the Russian school you can get the extreme contrast between the very quiet and the very loud, and somehow in between there is something missing. But in your playing there isn't that.
Well,
you seem to have the span of sound, but you have in between. There's a train that joins them together. There is a line that one can follow. Is that where did that come from? Did that come from your studies here in London, or just your? Did you go to lots of concerts? Did you hear lots of recordings? I mean,
well, you know, yes, it's difficult to say from where directly it came. Of course, mainly I was influenced by my teachers in Moscow and here in London, because in London also I had tuition with Vanessa Latash and with Sofia Gulak. I mean, both are wonderful musicians, and so it helped quite a lot. But at the same time, yeah, a lot of concerts, and you know, I took part in quite numerous amount of master classes, and so you know, I try to get as much as possible from any source, and kind of everything built this.
And who was your greatest influence, then, you would say, in the master classes that you think about?
And the master classes,
who was the one that influenced you the most, or the?
You know, it might sound funny because I don't share like this, let's say, the same way of teaching or some of the views or whatever. So I can't say that I just follow directly that person, but I'm extremely grateful to Bashkirov. Actually, he made a very, very big influence into my playing. And first of all, I don't know why. I mean, kind of logically, I understand that it should be always like that, but only after his masterclass, I played for him quite a few times.
Did you play for him in private as well?
Not private every time in the masterclass.
So you managed to survive the masterclass, which have become really quite famous, Master Bashkirov.
I have to say that after his masterclasses, I fully realized how it is important to properly read the music text, as it was left for us by the composer.
Well, thank goodness you got that from somewhere then.
You know, it sounds logical. I mean, how can you think opposite? But funny enough,
yes.
I have to admit that after his master classes, I really started paying a lot of attention on this important work, like with the music. So kind of trying to understand why it is like that. And like also notice every possible little detail.
how, if I could ask you, how aware are you of the Schubert song, of the poetry, the words behind the, or do you just treat this purely as a piano piece? Do you know the words to this piece?
Yes, I think it's very important. You know, in any programmed work, it is important to know the story. And when you play a song, it's even easier. I mean, you have like a special word for any harmony. And well, for example, this one, unfortunately, I don't know by heart the German text, but I do know by heart Russian translation of this song. Yeah. And yeah, it helps a lot because, for example, can I?
Yes, please. I wish you would.
So, like when it starts, the main theme when she's singing "Meine Ruhe ist in my heart ist schwer," so this like heavy heart, etc. But then, for example, when it goes like a second phrase. Sorry. On this harmony, the words is so she's saying that without him, the whole world for her is like a tomb. So you feel this pain and like it's very important. And words they help you to understand why composer used this or that sort of harmony. Or then, for example, when it comes after A minor. Episode where she's really flying, and so Gretchen is singing, if I'm correct, so she's remembering the feeling when she was with Faust and like remembering him, the smile, the face, everything, and then the very end, the keys. So it's like the point of climax, the exaltation of everything, and like, but then we understand that nothing can happen, and everything kind of broke out of sudden, and this, and in a way, broken spinning wheel. She cannot use it; it doesn't turn, yeah. And then finally it comes back and brings another climax, and actually. The last verses of this song, it's let's say enlarged by Liszt, obviously, because Schubert continued the same way, and well, because it's a different thing.
But I've noticed not only in this you explain because of the words and so on, but I've heard you play Opus 31 No. 3 by Beethoven, in which you lived the work in the same way. So you imagine there were words. Do you imagine there are words, or is it some expression or some atmosphere that you're looking for, or you're living the style of the piece? I mean, I've seen you literally almost living the especially the last movement of Opus 31 No. 3.
Well, it's programmed. It's a hunt. So
well, exactly.
You feel that.
Well, and the Liszt Sonata. Then I've also seen you do that when you won the Chapel Gold Medal for college, and you live that. It becomes a living thing. So there's a story. Do you imagine there's a story, or you're just so involved emotionally that words are not necessary, that music is explaining what the words could not explain?
Well, I find it can be two ways. Either you create, or it was, for example, for Liszt Sonata, I share the idea that it's very much connected with Faust. And I see those images, those heroes and everything.
And the Dante Sonata too, which is what you're playing on tour now. You're playing in America, the Dante Sonata, which is too long for us now.
It's purely like the hell, and then the heaven, etc. Well, Liszt wasn't a great master of picturing the heaven. He was a great master of picturing the hell, and which he did perfectly in Dante Sonata. Well, yeah, the heaven is just, 2.5 lines with tremolo, and that's it. The heaven is gone.
Oh, but he paid for it. In the late works of Liszt, he paid for it and made up for it.
Yeah,
More than
yeah.
made up for it.
Then yes, of course. So yes, what I was saying, it's two ways. Either you know this story, and obviously you're not just picturing the story, because what the story gives you, the story gives you the inspiration for your feelings, because anyway the music is about feelings. We need to express our feelings. When we're playing notes, it's not interesting, and nobody needs that. But yeah, what's important is to show what you feel and how you feel about this or that certain episode. And
we see it physically with you as well, though. Because I remember our piano teacher used to talk about Rachmaninoff. He said it's the most romantic piano player you've ever heard in your life, but the man looked as though he just swallowed a knife. And you certainly don't look as though you swallowed it. It's that you're really living the piece. Like you are living, literally involved totally in the piece when you're playing it.
True.
Yes.
I agree with that, and well, sometimes I'm
it's very noticeable, and they noticed it
consciously
very much
trying
in Cyprus, and they were very, very impressed. They were overcome with emotion at the way you played it in Cyprus, because the way you lived the music, the way every note became alive, and you were transmitting that to the public.
That's what our work is about, I think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can type the notes in the computer and ask the computer to play it for you.
Yeah, well, they do it style. You press a button and you can have Yuja Vang playing in your living room tomorrow. You know.
Well, but at least it's Yuja Vang, not just Sibelius or Finale, those programs where you type the notes. So it's still different.
But shall we now? It would be interesting to hear the last of the Schubert Impromptus, this filigree work, the pedal and so on, to see the difference between Liszt and Schubert together. I don't know whether, would you like to play that one?
I will try.
Yeah.